Hi, well, it's about 11:15. It's the 8th of December 2015. And this is my thought for the day. And I woke up this morning and I thought, what should I do on my video? Oh, I could do this, I could do that. Let's just have a quick look at the news. And I looked at the news and I thought, oh, manna from heaven. On the one hand, I was going to talk about David Cameron yet again because he's boring. And I was watching him last night talking about how in the floods in northern England, which have been pretty horrific, he stood there in his brown tailor-made leather shoes going, oh, we've got to get these people back in their houses, blah, blah, blah. And he's never been flooded in his life. He's got no idea about how common people live, I'm afraid. Anyway, not getting on to that one. I saw the news report this morning on the Donald. And I just thought this is too good an opportunity to miss. Donald Trump has trumped himself yesterday with his latest comments about banning all Islamic and Muslim people from entering the US of A. This is in addition to many of his other comments over recent weeks, and I just thought, wow, this is just outrageous. I do acknowledge, make no mistake, that a good quarter to 1/3 of American people actually back him up and support him in his statements, and I kind of understand why they say it as well. There's a fear-based thing here because it does seem as if, to the Islamic religion, anything that's not Islamic is the work of the devil, and etc., etc. But the attack on democracy that Trump is making, an attack on free speech, is pretty extreme. So I just thought, gotta look at his chart. Donald Trump was born on the 14th of June 1946, and he was born in Queens in New York. And he was either born at 9 minutes to 10 in the morning or about 12 minutes past 10 in the morning. There is some dispute as to his birth time. But regardless of the birth time, he's got Leo rising. But what's really interesting is that Donald Trump was born on a full moon. He was born with the sun at 22 Gemini and the moon at 20 degrees Sagittarius. And it was born with the sun conjunct the North Node, meaning that about 3 to 4 hours after he was born, there was a total eclipse of the moon. So Donald Trump's born on an eclipsed moon. Gemini sun people, I'm not a Gemini, I'm a Cancerian, but I've got a lot of planets in Gemini. They've got the gift of the gab. They're good at hype and spin. They can talk their way into and out of anything, and they can generally hold people's attention with their words. Moon in Sagittarius people, eek, that's me, I'm afraid. But hey, Moon in Sagittarius people, they're never going to be the most subtle, tactful or diplomatic on the block, but they are going to be the most straightforward, honest and yes, no, black, white, spade is a spade. And as they get older, they like simplicity. So he is someone who's going to shoot from the lip and say what he believes. Add to this that regardless of the birth time, he's got a very strong Leo rising, Leo on the ascendant. So he's going to come across as brash, strong, bold, leadership material, colourful, bright red tie, big hair, Leo rising. And thing is, with a strong Mars in Leo, very close to the ascendant, he's not faking it. He believes in everything he says, and it does make me wonder what his end game is. Being a Gemini with his moon in Sagittarius, there is something a little bit, I'm not going to say insubstantial, but there's not a great deal of fixed energy in his chart once you take Mars out of the equation. Not a great deal of cardinal either once you take Venus and Saturn out. His Venus-Saturn, his love life, in the 12th house in Cancer, unaspected. It's not a major feature of his chart. But his chart is primarily mutable, flexible, adaptable, easygoing. So I wonder whether he's got the staying power. And I wonder if this is just a publicity exercise on his part. So it seems to me that he's actually nothing but a big embarrassment to the Republican Party. And I'm sure the grandees and the higher-ups in the Republican Party are looking at him and thinking, what the hell do we do? By far and away, he's the leading front-runner of the Republican Party. But yet, he seems to be getting more and more outrageous. He seems to be almost deliberately trying to lose the nomination. And yet, the more outrageous he becomes, the more it seems that a large number of Americans really like him and support him. And yet he's managed to alienate women. He's managed to alienate anyone who's not Christian, anyone who's not white. The Democratic Party must be rubbing their hands in glee. thinking, yes, anyone can win against him. The Republican Party must be cringing because they know that if he actually gets the nomination and stands for president, he doesn't stand a chance because there's so many people lined up against him. So who else is there? There's Ted Cruz, there's Jeb Bush, there's a few others, and I will look at some of their charts, not Bush, but certainly Cruz, because a few of you have emailed me about him, so I will look at his chart. But in the meantime, I question whether Donald Trump is actually going to get to the finishing line, and there's 2 or 3 reasons for this. One is that he might self-sabotage, he might immolate himself, and he might just turn around and quit, because when he realises how close he's actually getting to being the presidential candidate. But I also noticed that yesterday, at the moment he was making that speech, anti-Muslim speech, Mars in the sky was exactly on top of his chiron, the capacity for self-sabotage, shooting himself in the foot. And I also note that the full moon, the new moon, in a couple of days' time, is at 19.5 degrees of Sagittarius, very close to his eclipsed moon in Sagittarius. And I know that a few American politicians over the years have consulted astrologers, and some have even had astrologers as paid advisors. I'm not going to comment who, that's common record. But if I were Donald Trump's astrologer, if he has one, and I'm not, but if I were, I'd be saying to him, look, this new moon's right on top of your moon. You've got Mars on top of your chiron. You're in serious risk of self-sabotage, shooting yourself in the foot. And if I were advising him now, I'd be saying stay low for the next 3 or 4 days. You are at risk. Whether it's from himself, the Republican hierarchy, or outside influences, I don't know. But I do think he's in... I think he's probably trumped himself a little bit too much this time. Fascinating astrological study. I'll be really, really interested to see how it develops for him over the coming months. And at the end of the day, America will get the president it deserves. Look forward to watching this one run and run. Catch you later, world. Bye.